Frogs win, frogs win. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. TCU somehow manages to cover 35-21 against the Colorado Buffaloes, getting a little bit of redemption, revenge, dare I say, from 2023, that god-awful loss that began the primetime era in Boulder, Colorado. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to break down. Hopefully some of y'all will be willing to call in and chat through it with me here at 11:30 on a beautiful Saturday night in Fort Worth, Texas. But first, I need some things from you. I need you to subscribe to the show. Hey, it's me. It's Clint Foster bringing you TCU Postgame Live. And you got to find us every Saturday night, sometimes Fridays, at TCU VOCFB. There it is right there. Oh, here it comes again. Ha, ha, ha. TCU VOCFB or Big 12 VOCFB. That's also where you see our Tuesday night Big 12 show every single week. The biggest 12, which there's a little shameless promotion up there in the top. My left, your left. Yeah, left-hand corner. Okay. Please subscribe. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers on the Big 12 channel. We are oh so close to doing it. I need your help to do it, so help me make that happen. Also, while you're following things and clicking on things and all that stuff, follow me on Twitter at Clint_Foster55, where you were seeing some of my stream of consciousness thoughts tonight until my phone died, and also my personal YouTube channel at Clint Foster Creations. Life is busy these days, folks. I'm gonna level with you. I'm gonna be really honest with you. I have not had the time that I've needed to get more short, funny videos up for y'all. I'm doing the best I can. I've got some scripts sitting on this phone right here. I just haven't had time to put them on tape. But you can see my Alamo Bowl documentary, which please check it out, man. I'm making no money off of that thing. I just want y'all to see it and enjoy it. I'll put a lot of effort into it. Go check out Remember the Alamo Bowl on Clint Foster Creations and give it a sub while you're there. I love you. You're such beautiful people. Also, make sure you're following the VOCFB, the voice of college football, on Instagram, Twitter, wherever your social media bread is buttered. Okay, a lot of fun things happening there. And hello, make sure you check out the voice of college football, Stowe. Here it is. Let me put it up on the screens. Oh, yeah. Boys College Football. There it is. Look at that. Oh, we got hats. We got shirts. That's really all we got, hats and shirts. But you can put VOCFB on your body. Okay, and who doesn't love that? If you enter in the promo code Big 12 VOCFB, it's going to let them know that we sent you. The best fans in the world, TCU fans, Big 12 fans. And, the rumor is eventually we're going to get the biggest 12 merchandise. So, just make sure that it's on your radar. Hey, you can get a purple shirt. Look at that. Purple VOCFB. Do it. Okay, do it. And, I'll have some more of that sort of stuff to tell you about later in the show. But first, we got to talk about this game. Okay, TCU managing to, again, beat Colorado. First time since 2022. Getting a little revenge from 2023. It is a 35-21 victory for the Frogs. And if we're being entirely honest, it was much less comfortable than the score would imply. Okay. Hey, we always say good teams win, great teams cover. The Frogs somehow found a way to cover in this game with like 23 seconds left, finding Eric McAllister in the back corner of the end zone. I mean, hey, if you're a gambler, that's great news, but I mean, there's a lot to be concerned about. And I will tell you, if I'm being completely honest, which I'm always completely honest, I don't know any other way to be. This game did literally nothing to assuage my concerns about TCU and the offense, and more specifically, the offensive line. There was a lot of issues, and we'll break it all down. We're going to talk about it, okay? And in fact, Comfy, you're right. They had us in the first half, not going to lie. They definitely did have us in the first half. I'm going to, like I always do, I'm going to make sure that y'all know about it this time. I'm throwing up a link in the chat right now. There it is. Okay, if you'd like to call into the show, if you want to break down what you saw tonight in Amon Carter Stadium, then do it. Come on, let's do it. Let's talk about it together. It's much more fun than just me shouting into the void. By the way, you'll notice perhaps slightly different confines than usual. My wife happens to be asleep on the couch. So, just like the Frogs tonight, we make do. We adapt. we do what we got to do, right? Okay, so some stats to consider before we get into specifics. Josh Hoover, statistically speaking, very solid game. 23 of 33 for 4 touchdowns, 4 total touchdowns, mind you. One of those was a quarterback sneak, and then he had 3, excuse me, no, okay. So actually, it's 5 total touchdowns, 4 passing touchdowns, 1 rushing touchdown. So great day statistically for Josh Hoover. If he's on your fantasy team, chef's kiss. We love that. He was, yeah, he was off target on a few throws, and there was a lot of times where we could talk about this offensive line. He really didn't have as much time as we would have liked for him to throw, but altogether, those aren't numbers to sneeze at. And the biggest thing we have to talk about with this game is the return of Kavorian Barnes and Eric McAllister. They were not back for the first couple of drives, and it was very apparent. Their loss was very felt. But by the end of the game, both of them end up leading in rushing and receiving. So if you weren't already convinced these guys are integral to this offense working, I mean, you ought to be now. 16 carries for Kavorian Barnes, 48 yards, and 4 receptions for Eric McAllister. 2 of them were touchdowns. 4 receptions, 65 yards, and 2 touchdowns. If you didn't think those 2 guys were important for making this offense move, then you might not have eyeballs, is all I got to say. Rushing numbers as a whole, because I know that's something that we made a really big bugaboo about against Arizona State, our inability to rush the ball. Really gave a lot of different guys touches. 35 carries altogether, spread out among Barnes, Battle, Everhart, Palmer, and Denman. 94 total rushing yards. So, better than Arizona State, but the eyeball test, I mean, we were not moving the line of scrimmage effectively on offense or defense. It was frustrating. I don't know about y'all. Please let me know how y'all are feeling, but I was a little frustrated watching this offense because we weren't able. 94 yards. Let's be honest right now. 94 yards is not an effective rushing night. Okay, 2.7 yards per carry. Of course, Josh Hoover does get that 1 touchdown. And Barnes did rush it better than the other guys. Major Everhart's carry I really like. That's a kid with a lot of potential and a lot of talent. I can't wait to see him work into the offense more. But, it felt like, with the exception of a couple of runs, for the most part, both these running back or all these running backs were having to try and make things happen without a lot of help from the offensive line. Oh, and Lord have mercy, do we have a call in? I believe we do. Device is not connected. We'll need to connect their mic. So let me text one of my friends, connect their mic or camera before you can add them to the stream. All right. Let's see here. We got a caller, but we want to make sure that we can hear him. Let's see. Enable your mic, son. Okay. Yeah, we're going to get you on here, Cam. If you're listening, we're going to get you on here to talk about it. Yeah, Alex, good bounce back. We like a W, hello win column. We love that. It's very clear if our weapons go down, then our offense is in trouble. Yeah, well, no kidding, right? What's frustrating about that, though, is that you assumed, at least I assumed going into the season, that this receiver room was pretty daggum deep, at least the receivers, Manjack's crazy talented. He had himself a good night. I'll read you those stats as well. Joseph Manjack, 5 catches, 65 yards. That actually ties for the team lead with Eric McAllister and the 1 touchdown. And then he had Chase Curtis with a couple and DJ Rogers with 3 catches, Jordan Dwyer with 3 catches. I mean, we got dudes, but none of them were able to really assert themselves in the same way that Eric McAllister is. Emma, first half, not the best. I will agree with you there. I was texting with a former student, and we were both saying, yeah, vibes are not great right now. Things are not great. The O-line. The O-line's a liability, Comfy. You're totally right. O-line's a liability, and the refs were we will talk about those referees. But, if you need any further evidence that our O-line is a position of weakness, and you can't be a championship team if your O-line is a position of weakness. That's the most important position group on the field. If you don't understand that, you don't know ball, okay? If you needed any evidence, Cam Cook, remember him? Cam Cook, that we were all like, oh, man, he must be the worst running back ever in the world, right? Don't look now, but he's one of the most productive running backs in the entire nation out there at Jacksonville State. Right? It's incredible what a good offensive line or a competent offensive line will do for you. And, we can talk till we're blue in the face. Is it an issue of coaching? Is it an issue of talent? Is it an issue of execution? I mean, I'm a guy who really subscribes to the idea that it's not about the X's and O's, it's about the Jimmies and Joes. So if we're not able, I mean, you can tell guys what to do, you can coach them till you're blue in the face, but at a certain point they got to do it, right? And offensive line has a lot of growing and improving to do. Okay. Yes. So everyone's talking about the refs. I see you, Alex. We're all talking about the refs. We mentioned Eric McAllister and Kavorian Barnes and how pivotal they are to this team. Let's talk about these refs a little bit. I didn't make a banner for it. I probably should have. But yeah, that was terrible. I mean, I know the call y'all are all thinking about. It's the call that's still sticking in my mind. One of the worst offensive pass interference calls I've ever seen in my entire life. They called what looked to me, I mean, they called it offensive pass interference, but it looked like they were trying to say that I believe it was Dozie Ezekonma had an illegal pick like 15 yards away from where the catch was happening. I mean, and wasn't even like anywhere near as egregious for you old heads like me who remember the 2005 Utah game, right, where Corey Rogers straight up like bodies a dude who's trying to cover Michael DePriest. Wasn't anything like that, okay? It was literally just like standing there and just slightly being in the way, and they call an offensive pass interference, but he's way far away from the catch, literally nowhere in a position to make a play. And that was a fourth down conversion that got taken off the board when the Frogs were still tied and at 21 there in the fourth quarter. And that is the first time I can ever recall at Amon Carter Stadium seeing things thrown onto the field from the stands. I mean, people were hurling water bottles and folks were booing. I was booing. I mean, you were probably booing if you're watching this. Okay. I mean, it was insane. Right. And luckily, the football gods kind of smiled on us there and we got they touched the punt and we were able to recover the punt and get the ball back. But man alive, the refs, they were doing everything. It felt like, I mean, I don't think it was as a whole to me. I don't think it was the most egregiously called game I've ever seen, but that call in particular really did chaff my behind. And I know it chaffed y'all's too, because not great. Brian paid him off. Well, maybe Clint, maybe he did. I don't know. 2 touchdowns this season we should have had back. Okay, yeah. So Alex, I'm assuming you're talking about when they called Kavorian Barnes. They or did they review it? Yeah, they reviewed Kavorian Barnes reaching for the pylon. Looked to me like he was in. Of course, why wouldn't it be? It was the exact same corner of the exact same end zone where Eric McAllister's touchdown happened against SMU, and they took it off the board. So that wasn't great either. But I don't know. I feel like I've seen. I've seen worse. If he did, Clint, he would have won. If he paid him off. Yeah, well, that's probably true. Cam, I'm trying to put you on the show, man, but you keep not enabling your microphone. I don't know what to tell you, dude. Device not detected. I'm trying to put you on, Cam. Okay. The refs hate everyone in the Big 12. Well, I think that's true. Yeah, the Big 12 referees, they're a special breed. It won't let me put you on. Okay. So, where was I? Anyway, yeah, so we've already dipped our toe into this, so let's talk about the offensive struggles a little bit. Yeah, the offensive line is a big problem. We're not running the ball effectively right now. We really haven't run the ball effectively since North Carolina, if we're being completely honest. And it felt like, I wish I had some stats to bear this out, because I'm just looking at the box score on ESPN right now. And it felt like every single drive, just like against Arizona State, we were constantly behind the sticks, constantly putting ourselves in 3rd and long. We're allergic to 3rd and manageable. At least it feels like to me. And that's really frustrating. It's really frustrating from a fan perspective. That's frustrating from a TCU perspective. Um, you're not going to win a lot of games doing that. Josh Hoover's a great quarterback, right? We are all fully aware of that. He is a very talented kid. He's a good leader. It was actually pretty exciting seeing him get very passionate after that offensive pass interference call. And I'm very grateful he didn't get a flag thrown on him, but it was kind of, whoa, okay, Josh Hoover's in the referee's face. Like that, man, it was good seeing that passion from him on a certain level. He's a very talented kid. He's a good leader, but he can only do so much by himself. And that felt like that Arizona State game that he was pressing a little bit. He's trying to win the ball game on one pass instead of letting the game come to him and finding guys underneath. He does have a tendency too. There were several plays in this game where he was staring down his receiver the whole time. He wasn't going through his read progression. And that sort of thing is concerning. But I feel like he feels like he has to do that because we're not able to get yards other ways. He feels like he has to do it all himself. And that's not a good position to put your quarterback in. It's not a good position to put your offense in. Not a recipe for success. Not at all. But it all starts with the offensive line. And it is good having Eric McAllister back, even if he was only on there for, I don't have any way of seeing how many snaps he was on the field, but certainly didn't seem like he was out there a whole heck of a lot. Man, look at this though. We had Texas, Penn State both lose this week. Man alive. What? We just got to keep winning, y'all. Everything's in front of us. And if I can move on to my reasons for optimism, that's a big reason for optimism. If we can keep winning, if this was, how do I put this? The Frogs that were on the field tonight did not look like a Big 12 championship caliber team. Full stop. Okay. It pains me to say that, but I feel like we can all agree on that. They got a backdoor cover. That's great. But there was a lot of struggles in that game. Okay. And especially if the defense doesn't come away with several timely turnovers, that thing could have gotten ugly really, really quickly. Jamel Johnson, great game. Bud Clark, great game. Our pass rush wasn't really as effective as I'd like for it to be. It felt like the Colorado's offensive line was really controlling the line of scrimmage, unlike ours. But the thing is, you got the win, right? Coach Patterson used to say, you only got to win by one, right? You just win each week and this thing will keep taking care of itself. And that's the truth, right? If the Frogs keep winning, then all of their goals are in front of them. And if we're looking at reasons for optimism, I mean, if we look at the schedule here, the next 3 weeks set up fairly nicely, for you to start getting on a little bit of a hot streak, right? You go to Kansas State, which by no means ought to be a cakewalk because you're in Manhattan, and we all know TCU's history in Manhattan, but Kansas State's not a very good team this year, right? That's a game that you should win. You absolutely should win that game. Then you come back for Baylor at home, right? That's a game also I expect the Frogs to win. Baylor has looked less than inspiring in the last several weeks. And, rivalry game, obviously anything can happen, but TCU typically, especially at home, has had Baylor's number, knocking on wood, for the last several years. And then you go to a West Virginia team, which, again, that's another place, Morgantown. Historically, TCU has struggled, but West Virginia is not a very good football team this year. They got a couple more years before this Rich Rod thing's going to work out. So there's an opportunity to get on a little bit of a win streak before you host Iowa State at home. Iowa State, who just got taken to the woodshed by Cincinnati. And then you go to what should be a very tough road game against BYU, right? But if you build up some steam, right, and you keep improving week to week, then you feel good about, hey, if I'm playing my best football, if everybody's healthy, then you want to be taking on a BYU late in the season. You want to be taking on a Cincinnati late in the season, right? It's not an easy schedule. I mean, I was decrying this thing left, right, and center all the way through the offseason. Y'all all know, most of y'all were here. It's not an easy schedule. It's by no means Tech's schedule. But there's opportunity. There's opportunity here. Okay, I'm trying to get one of my buddies to call in here, see if we can have a little conversation about all of this. Okay, Alex, what you got for me? Um, I agree. We're playing with fire and all these third and long plays. Yeah, man. Yeah. I think Hoover thinks he can do it, but it's not a good long-term strategy. Yeah. Well, and the thing is, this is what we see is a lot of times he can do it, right? A lot of times he can find a guy open, but that's not these are low percentage throws, right? You're not putting yourself in a position to succeed if you're in third and long literally every single time you turn around. It's just not good. Also, didn't like some of the hits Hoover took tonight. Well, yeah, that's what we're talking about, right? The offensive line, the protection has not been there. Ryan Hughes went down very early in that game. Not to say that he was, I mean, he didn't have the best week in America last Friday. I'll go ahead and say that. He'd probably be the first to tell you that. But that's one of our starting tackles, right? Going down early. And I mean, they had said that they had really reopened the competition this last week. And if he was good enough to start, then, well, that's not good, right? That he went down. I wish that box scores would tell us more about which offensive lineman played, because that's one of those things that when you haven't rewatched the game yet and you just saw it all live, it's kind of hard to pick up on every single O lineman that played. But yeah, it wasn't good. Wasn't good. Hoover took some hits. We weren't moving the line of scrimmage. Defense, for the most part, it bent, but it didn't break. I don't have a whole lot of negative things to say about the defense other than that I just still have a hard time wrapping my mind around the 3-3-5 as a concept. Um, as somebody who grew up watching Gary Patterson and the 4-2-5 and worked for that team with the 4-2-5 and has a really good understanding of the philosophy of the 4-2-5 and, you know, just the stinginess and the aggressiveness of that defense. I've had a very hard time these last 3 years wrapping my mind around a defense that is designed to bend but not break, and that is designed to only get pressure if you're blitzing, right? And like I mean, they played well. I think they played as well as they did against Arizona State, if I'm being honest. Got a couple more turnovers, so that's good. Yeah, really, where we're at right now, it's the offense that's the issue, and I think that's what's so frustrating again, because it's like we hired Sonny Dykes because he's an offensive guy, right? That's not supposed to be the thing that we're worried about with this TCU team anymore. It's frustrating. It's frustrating, and hopefully we can keep winning. Is all I can say. Just score one more than the other guys. Emma, what you got for me? We can not only rely on throws for bigger chunks. The running game didn't get bigger chunk runs. I'd like to see that. Yeah, you and me both. Your lips to God's ears, Emma. Absolutely. We got to run the ball more effectively, and hopefully, moving forward, if we've got Kavorian Barnes back for good, which it appears we do, then hopefully he can help us jumpstart that run game. Because one thing I'll tell you about Kavorian Barnes is, he reminds me a lot of Amani Bailey in a lot of ways, in that he hits the hole hard, right? He doesn't fart around. I think he's got better vision than Amani Bailey. Amani Bailey just kind of runs where he's supposed to go, like whether it's open or not, and just like 1,000 miles an hour. But Kavorian Barnes, he's got some violence about him with the way he runs. And that's helpful. That's very helpful when you've got I'll say it, below average offensive line, right? Where you might have just a millisecond of an opening and he's got to hit that thing, right? And get past that first level. What do you got, Comfy? K-State game next week is very interesting now, and I'm worried. Well, yeah, I mean, K-State's just not very good. I mean, I always worry to some extent about going to Manhattan, and I think Chris Kleiman's a good coach, but they don't have the weapons. They don't have the weapons, right? I think that if you compare Kansas State and TCU on paper, TCU is a significantly more talented team this year, significantly. Now, I think we were also significantly more talented than Colorado. So take with that what you will, right? But I think who am I kidding? I'm worried about every game, right? So I'm with you, Guppy. I'm worried about every game. But I feel like of the 3 games upcoming, I feel like I'm less worried about Kansas State than I am about West Virginia, if I'm being completely honest. And obviously Baylor is the toughest game of those three. But you got to keep winning. You just got to keep winning. Hey, LA Hornfrog, thank you so much for the super chat. Good post game, love it. Hey, I love you, man. I love you. Thank you for that super chat. Thank you very much. Emma, what you got? I am not looking forward to next week. Don't you? Isn't that the best part about being a football fan? Just the existential dread that comes with each ensuing game on the schedule. That's why we all do this, right? We're really gluttons for punishment. We're sadomasochists. Okay, well, I guess Cam's not going to be able to call in, is what it is. All right, Alex, they definitely have not played as inspired as they were for the UNC game. It's been a little worrisome. I'm looking forward to next week just for competition, but Manhattan sucks to play in. Yeah, I think you're right. You're right. You're really right about that because I think, and you can go ahead and say I'm wearing purple colored glasses all you want. Obviously, North Carolina's not a very good team. They got absolutely pistol whipped by Clemson and everybody else that they've played. But I really think we broke them, right? That win was so dominant. I don't really think that North Carolina was ever going to be a bowl team, but I think that they could have been a lot more competitive down the stretch if we hadn't just completely demoralized them in that first game. I mean, completely demoralized them and their fans, right? And that game was outstanding to watch. I mean, I have not seen TCU execute to that level and be physical to that level and just own the line of scrimmage and force turnovers. I mean, every single phase of the game was fantastic. I haven't seen that since 2022, or even probably before 2022, because a lot of 2022 was just us gutting out wins, and just refusing, just giving more effort than the other side and just refusing to lose. I mean, that team executed flawlessly against North Carolina. And that's why me and so many of y'all, we were so confident heading into the rest of the season, just flying so high. And yeah, it feels like in a lot of ways we've regressed a little bit, and that's worrisome to look at. But if you can get wins in Manhattan and Morgantown, even if they are ugly wins, then I think that as a fan, you maybe start to get some of that confidence back. And like, okay, maybe we can make something happen here. It's not out of the realm of possibility. Not at all out of the realm of possibility. Most points Belichick has ever given up in his career was in that game. UNC might be the worst power team in the country. Not going to lie, that game was still gorgeous though. Yeah. That was a lot of freaking fun to watch. Great way to start out the season. Here, I'll tell you what, give y'all a little bit more time to try and call in or get some more comments in. In the meantime, I'm going to play a quick ad for you. Voice of College Football Bets. Check it out.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.
Okay, so again, we don't want to be total Debbie Downers here. This is a TCU show. The Frogs did get a win, 35-21. Got a nice little cover added to the resume there. It was a 13.5-point spread. Frogs scored exactly 14 there right in the end. And, it's win is the name of the game, right? You just got to keep winning. And that's what the Frogs found a way to do tonight. So at the end of the day, we can complain till we're blue in the face, but this is what we want, right? Even if it's miserable, even if we have no fun while it's happening. At least they won. That's the important thing. So before we head out, I do want to remind y'all about our new sponsor, Novig. Y'all give the Novig app a try. It's a really fun time. It's if you're into sports betting, parlays, that whole realm and world of sports, check out Novig, download it, use our promo code VOCFB Big 12. That's going to tell them that we sent you. That's going to be a massive help to us. And also it's going to allow you to take advantage of a promo. You get, I think it's something like 50 coins for every dollar or something like that. It's a really good deal if you're getting into it. Obviously you must be 21 years or older to participate. And, of course, if you have a gambling problem, don't play around. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Oh, and we got a caller here. My good friend, Kristen Barnes. Kristen, what are your thoughts on this Frogs win tonight, girlie?
Hey, Clint. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. I'm doing good. We're talking about a backdoor cover, and I'm not feeling totally great about the win, but I want to know how you're feeling.
I'm glad we won. I'm glad we covered. Good teams cover. Yeah. First half we kind of struggled. O-line doesn't look so great. Defense kind of stepped up in the second half. Glad we pulled it out. What do you think for the rest of the season? What do you think? What are your thoughts on K-State next week?
Yeah, well, we were just talking about this. I mean, there's a lot and I'll actually get the schedule up on the screen for all of y'all who are watching. There's a lot of reason for optimism, especially these 3 weeks coming up. You go to Kansas State. Obviously, we have not had a lot of historic success in Manhattan. Kristen, me and you were at a game in Manhattan that did not go well at all several years back in 2021. But this is not a very good Kansas State team. This is a team that you should beat. You're better than on paper. Then you come home. You got the rivalry game against Baylor at home. That's a team that we've had their number for the most part for the better half of the last decade. And Baylor has had their struggles. And then you go to Morgantown, another place we've historically struggled, but another team that's not very good, West Virginia. So you've got an opportunity here, even if they're ugly wins, to keep this thing rolling. And win is the name of the game. I think that everything is still in front of us. If we can get on a little win streak here for the next few weeks, then you got a very tough end of the season, a very tough November. But hopefully by then you're playing your best football and you still have everybody healthy. I think Kavorian Barnes and Eric McAllister are going to be very key to any success that we have.
Yeah. Barnes is my cousin, by the way.
Yeah, for sure. Obviously.
We're related.
Yeah.
Can't you tell? We look a lot alike.
Well, yeah, the people in Radio Land know exactly what you look like.
We both have the same last name, Barnes. Yeah. We look exactly alike. We're twins, identical twins.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy for your family. Any other thoughts on the win tonight, Kristen?
No, I'm just glad we pulled it out. Glad we covered. So thank you again.
Well, thanks for calling in, girl. Good to hear from you. Yeah, she said it. Great teams cover, y'all. Great teams find a way to cover, and the Frogs found a way to do it. Alex, what else do you have for me? We still have a path to win. Nervous about BYU, however, I think we can take care of it. Well, yeah, that's another team that, like, theoretically, on paper, that's a game you should win, but it's tough to win in Provo, Yeah, and Emma, you are correct. BYU's defense is very good. They were always going to be very good going into this season. Yes. Just got to find a way to win. Yes, Alex, you're right. If someone goes down, Sonny talked a lot about next man up, and without McAllister, we didn't show it for ASU. Yeah, you're right. We've got depth in that receiver room. But if we're ever not going to have McAllister, we have to have guys step up. All right. Well, that's our show for this evening, y'all. Thank you so much for making us a part of your Saturday night here. Let me get my little outro song going. Let's feed those ducks. Okay. Frogs win 35-21. We love it. You love to see it. And let me just remind you to subscribe to the show at Big 12 VOCFB and at TCU VOCFB. Really pay attention to that first one if you would. We are so very close to 1,000 subscribers. That's going to be such a help to us. You have no idea how helpful that's going to be to us if you can subscribe to that show. Please do that for us. Give us a like, share us, help us grow this thing. And give me a follow on Twitter at Clint_Foster55. Follow VOCFB on Twitter, the ClintFostFB, and check out my personal YouTube channel at Clint Foster Creations. There it is right there on the screen. Until next time, hopefully we're celebrating another Frogs victory. Tune in to the Biggest 12 on Tuesday night in the meantime. But until then, I love you, and go Frogs.